I'm never gonna dance again. Guilty feet have got no rhythm, though it's easy to pretend. I know you're not a fool. Now that you're gone, now that you're gone. Dumelang Bomaseve, this week I am in the Omoda C5 and we're going to have a conversation. Yo, abuti taxi mara. Yo. I could say English. We're going to have a conversation. So let's get started with the exterior of the vehicle. Let's get started with the exterior of the Omoda C5. And guys, I don't like how it looks at all. I think the front looks like a bit of a grater. I don't know what all these bits and stuff are. It looks like yathaba. Like it looks like a cactus. I don't really like how it looks. From the first time I saw this car, I was like, oh guys, I'll call design. I'm it's not I'm sorry. Like, I'm really sorry, Omoda, but the front is just really funny. But you know what's cool about it is that it looks a bit futuristic. You have the small LED strips on top and you have the headlamps obviously at the bottom, giving it a very futuristic look. But the grille and the way it's so round, man, look at shape, personality, it just looks like a bit of a grater. I don't like the front, don't like how it looks. But moving on to the rear, that's when I think it looks a lot better. It looks a bit more sportier. You know, you have a solid light bar at the back. The lights dance up a bit, so the tech is there and there's a bit of vibe to it. So the rear looks a lot better. Thoroughly enjoying the way it looks from the rear and stuff like that. You know, you have a nice cut on the rim, on the wheels, giving it, and the whole car has a very nice SUV stance, so it does have a bit of a raised ride height. So in that regard, it looks very, very nice. You do have a sunroof on this unit, which is actually quite a cool touch. You do have contrasting side mirror cap colors. They're in a gloss black, obviously giving it a bit of more sportier look, and all these little design cues of it gives it a very sportier kind of look and a bit of a spoiler that you find at the rear. But the front is letting it down for me a bit. And this color also. I'm not very happy with this color. I use the color mint creamy or ice cream and green in it like chocolate like mint and choc mint. Ice cream and choc mint. Like color I'm also not happy with the color, but yeah. So yeah, the exterior is different. Moving on to the interior, you are met by a very well finished interior. I really love the materials used in here. You have a multifunction steering wheel that has 6 million buttons. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 buttons or so on each side. So it can be a bit jarring, so there's a whole lot of function here. You know, you have this large infotainment system display with your digital cluster also up in front. Everything is touch operated. We will get into that as the video progresses. You know, so the materials also in here used are quite good. You have this floating center console. A bit disappointed with the fact that your connectivities are still on the other side. They haven't kind of moved it to this side, especially when you want to connect CarPlay and Android. There is USB-C and a normal USB, so that's a nice touch. You have this really nice soft touch gear lever, and it's very easy to use. Just shift it to the front or the back if you want to engage reverse or drive. Your volume button is here. It's a conventional volume button, so that is also a win for me. I do like the cup holders here, you know, very spacious. Even the door bins on the side, very proper and spacious. Everything sits well. You have some gold trimmings and some gold accents going on around the car, which gives it a nice touch. You do have a little small sunroof that I really like. So yeah, in terms of the interior, it's quite nice. You do have kind of like sport bucket seats vibe going on with gold stitching all around them, so that's a very, very nice touch. So on the interior, I'm very much impressed. Really do think it looks nice. You have a Sony sound system in there, but we'll get into all of that a bit later. But in terms of the interior, I think the interior kind of makes up for the bit of the things or the mshiga or the nyaga nyaga that's happening in the front there, in the exterior. So the interior, I am impressed. So if you've made it this far in the video, thank you so much for watching. Please do hit the subscribe button. Please do hit the like button. And yeah, please join the family. If you are new here, welcome to the River S Cars family. And if you're returning, you're the OG, you're the real one, and I really appreciate the support. So yeah, also if you are looking for an Omoda C5, you definitely know where to go. Check out the Cars.coza app and website. Do look for a new one or a used Omoda C5, and also check them out for all the latest car reviews, car news. If you need any more information on this car, if you want to calculate the financing cost and how much it's going to dent your pocket monthly, don't forget to check out the Cars.coza app and website. All the information is in my description box. But yeah, let's get into the drive. So how does the Omoda C5 drive? The Omoda C5 is powered by a 1.5 liter turbocharged engine that produces 115 kilowatts and 230 newton meters of torque. This is the same engine you find in the Chery Tiggo 4, but this one has just been tuned a bit. I think it has 9 kilowatts more than the Chery, right? And it's mated to, it uses a not a 7-speed, man, I'm so used to it uses a CVT. It uses a continuous variable transmission and has like a 9-step kind of continuous variable transmission. And you can feel that it's a CVT, man. CVTs make a lot of noise. That's literally CVTs, that's what they do. But what's very commendable about this is that the torque does have a bit of a kick. It really does have a bit of a kick. When you put your foot down, it just jump a bit, it runs a bit. So I think those power outputs, initially, Negiti Soul, I was like, nah guys, this doesn't feel like a car that has north of 100 kilowatts. But when you're driving on a long journey, you do feel like there's good power retention, and that's very important for me. There's absolutely good power retention, so it does have a lot of momentum, does have a lot of kick, it does keep going. And with it being a CVT, obviously you have that little whining, wanging sound, whatever. But in terms of when it drives, there is a lot of agility and a bit of momentum that comes with this car. Like once you're in motion, it does go. There's a bit of a kick from those newton meters, the 230 newton meters, and it does give it a bit of a substantial push. So I think in terms of the drive, I'm not too disappointed in it, and I really do think that it's commendable. However, there is a lot of bumps and dips and a lot of road noise as you're driving. You're just so the installation is not really that great. It's not really the greatest of insulation. You do hear a lot of what's happening underneath you, and you do feel a lot of what's happening underneath you. So that is just the only little thing. But I think it's an okay drive. Like, it's a very good little drive. So now, guys, when it comes to Omoda, right, let me just give some bit of information. Omoda is owned by Chery. So basically, this is the luxury division of Chery, like how Lexus is the luxury division of Toyota, things like that. Do you understand? So Chery is here. So you have the C5 and the C9 that's coming, and ultimately, this is the second time I drive the C5. The first time I wasn't too impressed, and I don't think much has changed even now. It's not a bad car, but it's not that great either. The one quarrel that I also have with this car is the fact that everything is inside an infotainment system screen. Your climate control menu are all touchscreen. Everything is housed in here. I think you guys saw the little mishap I had earlier in the week where my instrument cluster just shut down. It shut down, I had to leave the car overnight, then it turned on tomorrow. But that happening is not indigenous to Chery. It's not indigenous to the Chinese manufacturers. It happens in the German manufacturers. I mean, people were commenting saying that this has happened in Range Rovers, it has happened in BMWs, all the other brands. But it was a bit scary for me because not being able to know your speed and not knowing your fuel gauge was a little bit disappointing for me in that regard. The car, in terms of how it drives, it's like how I feel about Chinese cars, guys. Like, I didn't personality. They don't have much of engaging drives. Like, kitty mass production in Yana, they just like I can't really deduce what this car is like and what this car wants to be in terms of driving. I just feel like I'm in a car, I got in, I'm reversing, I'm going to work, I'm parking. Like, it's very functional driving. There's not much of a passionate driving or a very evoke a feeling kind of drive in this car. Everything being housed in this thing is a bit jarring because sometimes this thing glitches, the CarPlay doesn't start, and yeah, that's the other thing. The other thing that's also a bit jarring is the safety aids. The passive and the active safety systems just go crazy. The indicator, boom, ping, boom, ping, boom, and then you have this when the lane keep assist, the lane departure assist, all those things, they beep and they go all up, like all these sensors that it has. It gets very nervous. The car gets very, very nervous. And rona batho ba anxiety, it makes you even more nervous because this thing just beeps and bongs and goes off the whole time. And you're just like, yo, Mutim, can you just calm down? Like, that's one of the things I have aversion to in terms of these cars, that they are really, really commendable in putting all of these safety aids, but it does get a bit overwhelming, right? It really does get a bit overwhelming. Another thing that I also don't enjoy about the car is the way it looks, right? I'm not really a fan of the way it looks, and it really is a bit funny for me because when I look at Cherys in general as cars are very beautiful. The Tiggo 7 Pro Max and the Tiggo 7 Pro are beautiful. 8 Pro Max is very beautiful. Those two cars actually feel like they are the luxury division of Chery because they are absolutely stunning cars. So the looks of this car let me down a bit. But I think that's the only thing I have aversion to. And this vehicle is priced from 447,900 for the entry-level tech. We are in the Lux version, which is 477,900 Rand. So in terms of pricing, beautiful pricing. Knocked it out the park, absolutely stunning pricing, under 500,000 Rand. And you're getting quite a lot for your money. What's commendable about the Chinese is that they put in a whole plethora of features, a whole plethora of systems. So you really, really aren't missing out on much. And they really are trying to give you value. So in terms of the pricing, I'm very much impressed with the pricing. However, I feel like Omoda has overdone it a little bit. Less is more. I always say that less is more. If you're coming in and you're going to hoy all these things in this car, it gets overwhelming for a consumer and gets a bit. Sometimes you can do without some things, and sometimes you can just come into a market and just sell us very like normal things, like dilo tse sharp, like dilo tse snang tlhaka normal fere. Because there's so much going on. This car overwhelms me. Because there's so much going on, guys. Like, I really don't want to lie to you. There is absolutely so much going on. So my ultimate verdict on the Omoda C5. I think the C5 is a beautiful attempt at trying to give South Africans something luxury at a very cost-effective price. But there's too much going on. It's a bit overdone for me. And I think they really need to just tone it down a bit. The styling is a bit overdone. It just looks a bit wonky. You know, you have these very quirky colors. Maybe they'll appeal to someone who has a very individualistic and a very extroverted kind of personality. Maybe it'll appeal to them. But yeah, it's a bit it's a bit crazy. What is absolutely commendable about this, all the niceties in here. You do have like electric seats, you know, you do have a multifunction steering wheel, a decent sound system. All these safety aids are really commendable, if only they weren't so nervous and only they weren't so anxiety inducing, especially in these cars. You can turn them off, but yeah, I don't want to be in a car that overwhelms me ultimately. Boot space capacity is absolutely stunning. I really think that is a very commendable boot space. The power retention in this car is really nice. The CVT does struggle a little bit, but in terms of how they've mated everything together, it seems to be very commendable, notwithstanding the fact that obviously I'm feeling a lot of road noise and a lot of bumps and dips on the road, which does kind of affect the driving quality of this car. But ultimately, I'll have to give the Omoda a very fair rating of... I'm trying to think of a fair rating because I really, really don't want to say anything that will kind of hurt the brand's feelings and kind of make me seem like a bad guy, because I really don't hate this car. I just find it to be a bit overwhelming. So with regards to fuel economy, Omoda claims about 6 liters, 6.6 liters per 100 Ks. I am doing 9.8. So we do know that the Chinese manufacturers do have a bit of a reputation for being very high in their consumption, right? The consumption is quite high. But all of the things that I've said, I think ultimately I can give the Omoda C5 a good 5 out of 10. I think it's a decent attempt. It's fair. The car does get a bit overwhelming, you know, obviously notwithstanding the little tech issues with the instrument cluster turning off. It did affect my experience with the car. However, I just want to put it on record that Omoda South Africa did call me. They did give me a call when this thing happened. And they said that this is one of the older units. So this is one of the first batches. So this happened. They do have newer cars and newer units that they are willing to have me test. So I think the tech problem will be alleviated if you buy the newer ones. And I think the newer ones don't have Chery on the steering wheel anymore. They have Omoda. So the brand identity has been, kind of established. So it's written Omoda on the steering wheel. So yeah, they did call me and they reached out. So thank you so much, Omoda South Africa, for that. And I really do understand that these things happen. And I think, to be honest, it's just little teething issues, man. All the manufacturers have been through it. When you start something out, it won't be perfect. It won't be absolutely perfect. But yeah, I mean, that experience was a bit scary. Like, hey, that thing at the you know what I got infotainment system out to let open no take a load shedding. It no tiba Joe. Like I was just like, I'm a pillow. Omoda. Until I got Shem this week. That thing at tiba Joe. Yeah, not too. You know, when you just try to restart the car, whatever with the robot, or we throw heads, I spun it next, you're not too. But no, I will not really be too hard on it. But ultimately, I will give the Omoda C5 a 5 out of 10. Great attempt by Chery, beautiful. Pricing is very decent. However, even with the pricing that I've mentioned, I think before you consider the Omoda, look at other vehicles. Look at the Sonnet, look at the Franks, look at your urban cruisers, look at the more established brand. Or also, if you're staying with Chery, look at the Tiggo 4, look at the Chery 7 Pro. I think they're within that price bracket and I think you will be fine. And that is it from me, Boma Server. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Let me know what you guys are getting for 477,900. Are you getting an Omoda or you're going to look elsewhere? I really do hope that you guys enjoyed this review. It was very hard for me to do it because I felt very, very somehow towards this car because I was just not gelling with it. And with me driving it for the second time, I'm still like very much in two minds, and I think I'm more disappointed than anything. And I don't think it's a bad car. I really don't think it's a bad car. But it's not I can't, man. And not like a cloak. Mama Tunza, I can't happy. Tlobule like happy. Pelage would hoku. Pelage would hoku, Mama Tunza. It would hoku, serious. Okay, guys, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Like I said, do comment below what you guys would get for this money and what do you guys think of the Omoda C5. Thank you so much for my save. I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye. Mama Tunza, yo, Omoda tlabayara wagalata wa munna. Whew.